I'm going to start off by reading a little bit of something. So, I hope you guys don't get bored. I'll try and make it as entertaining as possible. African Caribbean communities are most likely than others to be admitted to hospital for mental illness. The same is also true for people of white and black mixed ethnicity. Most of us have problems at some time in our lives, such as money worries, stress at work, or death of a loved one, which can affect our mental health. But people from African and African Caribbean communities can face additional problems that may affect their mental health. Everyday life has a big impact on mental health, and black communities in the UK are still much more likely than others to experience problems such as bad housing, unemployment, stress, racism, of all which can make people ill. Worldwide, it seems people move from one country to another have a higher risk of mental illness. This is especially true for black people who move to predominantly white countries, and risk is even higher for their children. While mental health is no more common in Africa or Caribbean than it is in the UK, as a whole, it's a bigger problem for African Caribbean communities living in the UK. When you're growing up in an African household, there's certain things that you just don't talk about. That's the thing with black people, we don't talk. You're not open about things, or open about things that you're going through, or open about things that you're seeing, but people choose to talk about negative and other people's stuff, but they don't ever divulge or really talk about what they're really going through, or their problems, or what they really feel. It's really hard. Black people don't talk, especially African people. I mean, if you see something at home, and so you see and you witness some sort of abuse, or witness something when you go to work or when you go to school the next day, you just seem to forget. I always used to block stuff out when I used to see things at home, and as soon as I went to school, it's like a new day. Like no one ever knew what was going on at home. But depression is probably the biggest thing in our community. Definitely depression. Because you can get depressed from so many things. Every single thing you can think of can cause an element of depression, especially in the society that we live in now, and especially growing up in an African household. It really can be very hard. Just don't talk. We don't talk and we don't open up, and then it starts to manifest, and it just starts to turn into this big ball, and then by that time you don't know like what to do, because it's already gone so far. And that's what happens when you don't talk and you don't have a release. It's very important when you're going through stuff, especially depression, to have a release. You have to talk, because if you don't and you keep that in, and every time something bad happens, it just adds and adds and adds and adds and adds and adds, and then it explodes in a way that is just detrimental to your whole being. And you should never ever let yourself get to that point. And I feel like the only way you can prevent that is from talking. So don't be ashamed. It's not a white thing, because that's what they make you think. Everything is white. Like stuff like that doesn't exist for black people. If you don't talk about it, then there's something wrong with you if you have this, and that's a white people. Maybe you're doing this. Not everything is white. There's nothing wrong with getting counselling. There's nothing wrong with getting therapy. There's nothing wrong with seeing a psychologist. If you feel like you need to let something out, then that's what those services are there for. And you shouldn't be afraid or feel ashamed of talking, because it's very easy to feel ashamed and embarrassed, but it's a real thing. And if you don't take steps into dealing with it, suicidal thoughts, it's a problem. Why am I here? Why was I there? And then you start thinking stuff like that, and then that's when it's really, really serious. This manifests in different areas. Then it feeds into insecurities. It's like a disease. Like, a lot of things led into my depression. It was pressure. It was not feeling good enough. I would say bullying an aspect of it, but that wasn't the main thing. I put a lot of pressure on myself, and then my dad put a lot of pressure, and it was a whole being of never feeling really good enough at that point. And it just made you think such negative thoughts. And then when I come out, And I started seeing people that did not help when it didn't work. That's what I mean, it manifests into other little things. Because if I was to talk and was open about it and dealt with those issues then, nothing that would have come in the present timing of that would have ever been as bad, and I would never have taken it as bad as I really did at those points. It's because I never dealt with the little seed, and then I kept on getting into situations and the things just kept piling up, and then I just wanted to explode and never forget those 2 times. And I think I just got to, I didn't really seek help. I never went to counselling, but I got to a point where I was you just get tired of feeling shit. It's like, how long are you going to be depressed for? How long are you going to keep feeling down for? Like, you're going to do something about it? Jesus, you're going to keep every day to something negative. Oh my God, it was so horrible. And yeah, I just bucked myself up into ideas fast, boy. It just gets, it's so exhausting. It takes so much energy. It's so draining to be down and negative, you know. And then you feed yourself into being negative all the time. Every single little thing, when something doesn't work, when you don't get a job, when this doesn't happen, when you had an argument with this person, when this doesn't work, or you, even little things like getting dressed in the morning if you can't find something to dress, or you're 10 minutes late for the train. Like little things like that used to just, why is everything what happened to me? I used to take little things like, Jesus Christ, if you're 10 minutes late, is it the end of the world? You get there eventually, innit? Like, Jesus, it's not a bad thing. My God, just you get there, innit? Now I'm like that. Before, I used to have, so, and it created really bad anxiety. And that's still something I'm kind of dealing with now, but it's not as bad as it was. I used to have really, it created such bad anxiety, such bad. I used to get myself into these panics. And just, like, just from the littlest things. Because I would let something so little manifest from when I was younger and I never dealt with it. So the easiest thing to do is just talk. Talk, man. Lay it out in writing. Do a sport. Take up something. But as much as you can distract yourself from physical activities, nothing is as soothing as talking. You have to let it out if you really, really want to really heal and be and reach the potential of the beautiful and the greatness that you really have for yourself, that is designed for you in this life. But you will never get to that if you keep suppressing this anger, this hate that you keep on, because that is what we do as black people. We always think that we can do everything ourselves. We always think that we don't need no one's help, you know. Always think that. But we're human just like everyone else. And you need help. You need to talk to people. You need that. And it doesn't make it any less of a person doing that. Makes you human. Whether people want to admit it or not. Like, people like making you feel ashamed about stuff like that. But there's nothing to feel ashamed about. Everyone has to deal with stuff at one point or another. And everyone takes things differently. And that's what I always said. I always distracted myself by doing stuff, like going out and stuff. But that doesn't help. Anyone who tells you that is a lie. You need to speak and you need to lay it out. Once you start speaking, that's when the healing begins. Because you can really face what you're saying and what you're feeling. And when everything's laid out on the table, it's a freeing type of feeling. Do you ever get over depression? Yes, you can. But don't get it confused just because you have insecurities, and depression and insecurities are totally two different things. And a lot of people, I used to put them all in one, but as a human being, there's definitely going to be insecure about something. It's just normal. You're going to have days where you feel shitty, and there's going to be days where you're feeling bomb. That's just normal. It's a tiny bit of an insecurity when you're feeling shitty. But it's nothing too serious. I can't stop fidgeting because it's such a sensitive topic. But yeah. Just my little advice for mental health. I've done a video on depression before, and that was so many videos ago. Just have to remember that you are only human, and everyone's a work in progress. And know that everything is going to be amazing and everything will be okay, but you have to allow yourself to see the ending of that tunnel. And for you to get to that light, you have to start being a bit more open and conquer that seed of hurt, and really get into terms of facing what has really brought you to that place where you feel so dark and lonely and lost and stressed. And once you really face it, you have no option but to move on from it. And that kind of learning is a bit more easier than you would probably ever think. Yeah. I don't know this video. I think this video was a bit rubbish, innit? Oh Lord. Junior, this video is crap. I hope it helped something. I hope I weren't talking rubbish. Oh my god, I would know when I'm trying to edit if it's rubbish or not anyway. Oh my god, I hope it's not rubbish. But I hope it helps. And thank you guys once again for the 2K. Absolutely amazing. I can't believe I'm on 2,000 subscribers. I've got 2,000 beautiful people. I need a name for you guys. So if you've got any suggestions, put it down below. Put it down below. Have a lovely day. I'm ready to go.